And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. And welcome in to a 3-hour radio extravaganza of sports talk excellence. So great to have you guys along for the ride. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM is the gentleman in charge of not only this sports talk radio program, but all radio programs everywhere that you enjoy. He's responsible for all of them. He's just that good. The great Malonzo's in the building. What up, Zoe?
So it's like, when you get zero sleep and you feel especially silly. Some people get grumpy. I go the opposite. I got zero sleep and I feel especially silly. I'm going to try to keep it in check.
You got super hyped about Stanley Cup Game 5.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Kept them up all night thinking about the Vegas Knights' domination of the Panthers.
Didn't need to watch because I had a Rob Brown guarantee.
And
Rob Brown's guarantee comes true again. So,
it wasn't just that the Golden Knights beat the Panthers of Florida last night in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 5, they win the series 4-1. It was that Vegas thoroughly dismantled Florida. And then once they had dismantled Florida, they then took the pieces and broke them into even smaller pieces.
When you live in Florida and play in Florida and you're looking forward to going on vacation, where do you go on vacation?
Another part of Florida.
Okay, because I mean that's the thing to say. Well, obviously they were just looking forward to their vacation. They already live in a vacation destination. Where do they go?
Either further north or further south.
I guess you could say the same thing about the Victor, but they won. So
I mean, if you're gonna have a celebration, where the hell else but Las Vegas, right? Hey guys, time to celebrate. Let's go next door. And then what do? Go one more next door. I would like to be a world champion in Las Vegas. I believe I would have a mediocre time.
What would you do with the Stanley Cup, Rob? Everyone's got to do something weird with it. What would you do with the Stanley Cup?
Like,
this is not Rob Brown After Dark, by the way.
Well, there goes half my answers.
It's like 9:03 in the morning.
There goes half my answers. Sitting in a chair in the corner. All right. The very first thing and the obvious thing for me is I'm taking it to my favorite dive bar. I'm having them fill it up with whatever my beverage of choice is that evening, and I'm not getting out of that chair until it's empty.
Are you washing it first? I mean, you're a hockey player. I mean, what do you care about germs?
Yeah. So first off, there's that there. I don't know. I don't know the guy's name. I should. He's been doing it for as long as I can remember. But there's that white hair guy that is always with the trophy, right? He travels with the trophy. He never lets the trophy leave his sight, right? He takes care of the trophy. Every time somebody touches the trophy, he walks over and wipes it down. Like, I imagine that guy is just constantly taking care. And my understanding...
Kind of like what Diesel does here in the studio.
Correct,
yes. But
a trophy. My understanding is that when the players have their day with the trophy, right? When it's their turn to take the trophy somewhere, I believe that guy comes with you, right? So...
Here's the Stanley Cup and Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
I believe that Bob comes with you everywhere you go. So if you're one of these cats that's like, gonna take it shark diving, he stays on the boat. If you're one of these guys that is gonna take it out to the bar, he's in the stool next to you. My initial thought was, all right, let's just be grown-ups here. Some of these players totally do the old unskinny bop, 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 bop with the trophy in bed with them and their loved one, right? Or their lusted one.
All right, so the Cup's main escort, known as the keeper of the Cup, is Phil Pritchard.
Phil!
So it's Phil, your buddy Phil.
All right, Phil. I see you, Phil. So
Phil doesn't go diving with it. Doesn't go shark diving. Why isn't Phil with you every step of the way?
wait, so he does not go
No,
with him?
you said that.
No, I'm saying he does. Like if you take the Cup out for a day at the beach, Phil gets his sunscreen ready. If you take it out for, a night out on the bar, Phil gets his boogie shoes on.
Wonder how much Phil gets paid.
He's the keeper of the Cup. I assume it's not cheap. How much does the keeper of the Cup make? Phil gets, let's see here, according to the first and most unverified answer, is that Phil makes about $180 an hour from the league. How much does that work out to be? Besides a lot? About $180 an hour to be the keeper of the Cup.
I'll do that. I mean, there might be some danger going along with it. You might have to avert your eyes on certain occasions, but $180 an hour, I can do that.
Hey, Phil, me and my lady need the room. And Phil's like, no, I'll stand in the corner and watch. I don't need you doing unsavory things to the Cup,
so
man.
There's no Phil menage a trois.
I mean, I don't think Phil needs to be.
Although
tagged
if you think about the Cup as already, so this would be whatever 4 people or things are. I don't know.
By the way, Phil has been the keeper of the Cup. In 2016, he was there for 28 years, and that was what? 7 years ago? So Phil's been the keeper of the Cup for 35 years. I was 3 when Phil became keeper of the Cup, and he's still keeper of the Cup.
Oh, the things that Phil has seen.
You know what? I bet that job kicks ass, dude. Like, all right. So
well, you're traveling in luxury, I'm guessing, if he has to be with
yeah.
it the whole time. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not putting it in the overhead as he's flying. I mean, he's flying first class and the Cup is flying shotgun. So, I mean,
Like, I assume that for the couple of months that every player gets their night with the Cup, like out of every team, there's probably 1 or 2 players that like make it weird for Phil, like 1 or 2 players that are like, Phil, you're probably going to want to turn around for this. But I imagine the majority of players, when they have their day with the Cup, are just wholesale partying, and Phil's there.
I mean,
Like, I bet Phil's job's awesome.
Here, Phil, take pictures.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, man. Like, I imagine Phil gets so all right, let's see. The championship trophy, awarded annually to the National Hockey League playoff winner, is on the road about 300 days a year. Oh, Phil is one of 3 keepers of the Cup. It's not just Phil. There's 2 other guys that do it with him. Let's see. Pritchard said the winning NHL team gets to keep the Cup for 100 days, which generally are split up between the players, owners, and management. He said, basically, we get out a world map for everyone's hometown, and we figure it out. Pritchard said the Cup traveled to 6 countries following the Chicago Blackhawks 2015 win, Canada, the U.S., Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. The Cup is insured for $1.5 million when it travels. It has, according to Phil, been fishing, mountain climbing, to sauna parties. It has been in convertible parades, all sorts of places. It's all done with fun, but with respect as well. And listen, I think Phil's probably got the best job because I don't think there is a group of athletes that respects their trophy more than hockey dudes respect the Stanley Cup. Right? I don't think the guys are going to take the Stanley Cup and do something that could endanger the cup. That being said, 100% those guys are filling it up with Jaeger and bombing it until it's empty, right? Phil gets to travel the world. Go to some awesome places, and all he's got to do is hand off the cup to a player and be like, don't break this. Here's my question. Is there like a loyalty oath to the cup if you're Phil? I do solemnly swear that I will protect the cup with my life.
Is there a dais and kneeling involved?
Yeah.
And when the next cup keeper comes along, is he like knighted by somebody? I mean,
when you swear in, do you like put your hand down on the NHL's rule book? Do you put it down on like the NHL record book? How's that get handled?
Well, it is Lord Stanley's Cup, so maybe you are knighted to protect the cup, kind of like going after the Holy Grail or something. Is there a time when Phil goes, okay, that's it?
Yeah, no, give me the cup back.
That's
man.
it. That's too far. That's too much.
Sergey, give me the cup back.
And what happens if the player refuses Phil? Is he like trained like Secret Service or something?
Yes, the keeper of the cup has mad jujitsu skills, bro. All right, so Phil's been the keeper of the cup for 35 years, which means Phil, at the very youngest, is like 55 at his youngest. And I'm going Phil's 60, right? I'm going Phil's 60.
So Phil's around my age. I can do that. $180 an hour. I can do that.
All right, let's see here. Phil Pritchard is mentioned on the Hockey Hall of Fame Wikipedia page, but I can't find out why. All I want to do is find out what Phil Pritchard does for his life now. Like, what else does he do? What else does he do?
Well, after he's done traveling with the cup, he goes on vacation.
I mean, you're the keeper of the cup. Sacrifices must be made.
Well, I feel
like the keeper of the cup, like, isn't allowed to have a family,
Well, it's like shared custody. You said 3 people do it. So it's like every third week you travel with the cup. How's that work?
Are there any hockey bros out there that know this, right? I feel like this is one of those things that like the diehard hockey bros know. Like they've got it down. Like they know how Phil works.
I wonder if there's a cup tracker. So you know where the cup is at any time.
Man, that's a great question. Stanley Cup tracker.
They've got a chip in the cup so you know where it is at all times.
Let's see here. CBS News has it looks like CBS News has a cup tracker. Let's see.
Well, it makes public appearances and things like that too, so you can go out and get your picture with the cup. So, I mean,
One of the players from the Avs won it a couple of years ago, decided the only thing he wanted to do was have breakfast, lunch, and dinner served to him in the cup. What are you eating out of the cup?
For breakfast?
You get one meal out of the cup. What are you eating out of the cup? Biscuits and gravy, baby.
I don't know. I'm going to go maybe soup. I think
soup.
Yeah.
The most boring food in the world. You got the Stanley Cup to eat a meal out of, and you go with the most boring food in the world.
Yeah, that's me.
Soup.
That's me. I didn't say what kind of soup.
It doesn't matter. Soup is the most boring food in the world.
Soup is not boring.
Soup and bread.
No, that's bread. It. Bread is boring. Soup is at least above bread. What are you eating?
I just told you.
Biscuits and gravy. Okay. All right.
Big old chunk of pepper gravy.
Dude, that's a lot of gravy.
It's one time with the Stanley Cup.
Okay. So you're going to sit there and you're going to eat all that gravy.
So we got to get back to Phil. What does Phil do here? How does this job work? Like,
Come on. Joe says cheese grits mixed with eggs and bacon out of the cup. By the way,
I don't hate that.
James,
I don't hate that.
James says, okay, Grandpa, because I said soup. I told you I'm sleepy. You can check us out, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
Let's see how long it takes for Lonzo to fall asleep on air. All right.
No, the giggling's coming next.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute. Chris Lewis says Phil's full-time gig is minding the cup. He's been doing it for ages.
35 years this guy's been doing it.
Yes.
35 years. But again, I need to know what that means.
All right.
Right?
I'm eating stone soup out of the cup.
Soup.
No. Stone soup is a community soup. Everyone adds something to the soup, and that makes it a family thing. It's still Grandpa, I guess. But
That sounds worse.
You never read the book Stone Soup?
No.
Okay.
No. I did not.
James wants shrimp and grits.
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I don't hate that at
grits
all.
are disgusting.
All right, here's my question.
They never get the grits out of that thing.
Here's my question. Your Phil, today's day one of 100 days where everybody in that organization gets to spend a day with a cup. You show up and Marchesal says, listen, all I want to do is lay the cup. Listen. All I want to do is lay the cup in the bed, and then I want to couple with my wife next to it. Does Phil leave the room? Does Phil stay in the room but turn his back and just listen for damage? Does Phil stay outside the room but put his ear?
Wait a minute.
How much of a
what kind of damage is he
Phil?
going to hear in that situation?
I mean, listen. People are into some stuff, though, right? People are into some stuff.
It's the cup's pretty sturdy, from what I understand. It's hard to dent.
But it's been dented. I've seen it get dented. So how intimate does Phil get when he is keepering of the cup? If a dude says, I'm taking it shark diving, does Phil have to go get certified? If a dude says, I'm taking it skydiving, does Phil have to jump? Does he have to be within touching distance of the cup? Is there rules where he's allowed to be, okay, you can be 5 feet from the cup, 10 feet from the cup? How far from the cup is rule? If a guy goes skydiving, does Phil hang out at the LZ? Or does Phil have to go up with them and jump?
No, he's going tandem. He's up there.
It's my question. If a guy wants to go diving with a cup, so here's the thing. If the guy wants to go tandem diving with a cup, right? Phil can't do that. You can't go try diving. Can't be 3 of you. Does Phil have to do that? Does he have to learn how to skydive where he holds hands with that guy in case something goes wrong? The guy's chute doesn't open, and Phil's like, I got you. And the guy's like, go, yeah, good. My chute's not opening. And Phil's like, not you. How's this work? How does this work? All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we stop goofing off. We start being very serious because Ray is mad as hell somewhere. All right? So when we come back, the Denver Nuggets and the Vegas Golden Knights both have something in common.
All right. I just looked up the weirdest things ever done with the Stanley Cup. Chris Draper's child uses the cup as a diaper. I'm not eating soup out of that.
Somebody let their kid crap in the cup? Seriously?
That's what I said. Let's see. Lemieux and take the cup swimming.
Good with that. That's fine. I would take the cup out to Crab Island for a day, without a doubt, or out onto Lake Hartwell for a day. But somebody
Red Kelly's son has an accident, so it's multiple times.
That people have crapped in the cup. Oh my!
Apparently, it's been used as a dog bowl.
Fine with that. Dogs are awesome.
A holy celebration. Someone's daughter was baptized in the cup.
I'm not mad about that. That's awesome, actually.
Someone lost the cup, but
someone what?
Lost it.
Phil.
Yeah, it was in 1924. Phil wasn't around for that.
Around,
yeah.
Phil wasn't been
Celebrity
around
bonfire. Okay, it doesn't look like they caught the cup on fire, but maybe they did.
If you bring the cup to a bonfire, that's fine. Not light one in the cup. Here, all right.
So multiple children,
Have
which
crapped
is
in the cup.
really bothering Rob right now. Have
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Do you understand? When I say,
And think about it, Phil has to take care of that.
when I say there is no group more entitled than parents of babies, I'm not lying. Nobody believes they deserve special treatment more than parents with babies. I don't even care if you're an NHL player. Do not let your kid crap in the cup. What the hell is wrong with you, man? You want to drink Jaeger out of it? Fine. You want to have a lady of the night hold it while you get into the boom boom? Fine. Don't let your kid crap on the cup. What is that? What is that?
It's not on, it's in.
Whatever. And I bet they were like, oh my God, it's so cute.
No, I'm sure they were embarrassed saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I just, they sit their kid in the cup and the kid does what kids do.
Set your kid in the cup, fully clothed. All right? Set your kid in the cup, fully clothed. Take your 2 or 3 adorable lifelong memory pictures and then get your kid out of the cup before he soils it. All right, we got to take a break. We've gone off topic a couple of times. This is one of my favorites.
We were not on topic. We're talking about the
Sure, we're
Stanley
talking
Cup.
Stanley Cup. You're
I
not
don't know
wrong.
what stop apologizing. Your name's on the show, dude. And I warned you, I haven't had any sleep.
Look out, Ray. Lonzo's coming, big dog. All right, when we come back, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Denver Nuggets both have something in common. And I genuinely think and also hope that it is going to change the direction of professional sports. And I'll tell you what that is when we come back. I'm Rob Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. Which is worse, though?
Wait, has the Stanley Cup been to space?
I bet Phil wasn't with it if it did.
That's what I'm asking, right? I'm asking Elon to send me in space with the cup. That's what I'm asking for. One day with the cup, I want to take it into orbit.
Elon would say you didn't pay for a blue check, so no.
He would. Be right back, guys.
Also on the space shuttle, but not the space shuttle going into space. Okay. I guess. That's not fun. It's going to be on space shuttle. It needs to be, well, that was decommissioned. How many years ago? I don't remember. Probably. I don't know. When was Prohibition? So maybe they lost it in a speakeasy. So Prohibition started in 1920. I'm guessing it was over before that. Yeah, so Prohibition would have been from 1920 until 1933. Is that true? So if that is true, maybe they lost a cup in a speakeasy.
That's
maybe
100% it.
maybe that's what happened.
That's 100% it.
You find the speakeasy and suddenly the speakeasy's gone.
They totally ditched the keeper of the cup too.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy's a square, dude.
Yeah. I don't think they this
You run
is
distraction.
even before Square. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Something daddy-o.
This
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's see. Insults from the 1920s. A gongoozler,
You should be careful. Although we are on stream,
a
so
bearcat, a slacumtrance, A spatherdab.
Definitely I'm not saying it because I don't know what it means. I'm not risking it. None of those sound like real words. So we make fun of kids today for coming up with slang, and that's what they were saying.
Wet blanket.
There we go. Wet
That guy's
blanket.
a total wet blanket.
Total wet blanket.
They also probably didn't say dude yet.
Yeah, I'm guessing that. Well, no, dude. Well, dude was a cowboy term probably, but they had cowboys then.
Oh, that's true. No, Popinjay, which meant sanctimonious.
There we go. He's a Popinjay. He's a Popinjay.
Hey, this dude's a total Popinjay, huh? What do you say we ditch him and hit the old speakeasy? Huh?
Yeah, right. Let's go to speakeasy. You grab your Dibby and we'll head over there and have some fun.
A stalker or creepy guy was called a gungoozler. A mistake in the 1920s was called a boner. And now I'm just gonna use that all the time. I'm good. We're on the stream. I can sit.
No. I'm talking about the temptation when we're not on the stream.
Because
also,
I don't. With that 100% is not a censored word.
Right? It's a context thing. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And
so if I came on and I was like, "Oh, forgot to turn on my mic," I made a boner. Would that get bleeped?
By me probably. Yes. I guess we have more people listening on the radio than we do on the stream. Yeah. They'll have no idea.
You gotta watch the stream, y'all. You gotta come hang out on the stream.
I'm uncomfortable now.
I know.
And worried.
So during the break, we were discussing the context in 1924.
Yeah, and I was curious if prohibition was going on then, because it might be easier to lose the cup if prohibition's going on.
Yeah. So we were discussing whoever it was that lost the cup and came to the realization that cup didn't get lost. Some of those players took that cup to a speakeasy, right? Some of the players decided to head to the speakeasy, to where I acted out, as I tend to do with my Oscar-winning thespian abilities, a situation where a couple of players were talking smack about 1920s Phil, and they ditched him for being a total square. So I was like, it's the 20s. It's not a square. So we looked up insults from the 20s, and then we found out that there's a particular word that people in the 20s used when someone made a small mistake, a mishap, if you will. And I used that. I told the people on the stream what that word is. I'm not going to say it on the air, mainly because I'd be wasting our time, because Lonzo's 100% dumping it if I do. But now Lonzo is concerned. I don't know why. My professionalism is off the charts that I'm going to slip up and use that word on the air. But I told the folks on the stream.
Unless you're trying to play that game, like, let's see if I can get one by him. I mean, you know.
Well, that would be a mishap.
Yes, it would.
You got to watch the stream, man. The off-the-air conversations get weird. All right.
We were discussing T-bone steaks.
Yes, that is it. Or our favorite instrument, the old trombone.
Is that really a nickname for that? You play the trombone. I don't know. You did a fine job on the Upstate Pulse annual Christmas karaoke special playing the trombone, by the way. Go back and find out on the stream.
Nailed that. All right. Let us get to some stuff here on the show. Vegas and the Denver Nuggets won championships in back-to-back days. Nikola Jokic and his Nuggets did it on Monday. On Tuesday, Jonathan Marchessault and his Golden Knights did the same. Now, we can get into the X's and O's, the breakdown of both of those games, and we will, I'm sure, later on in the show. But more importantly, these two teams share something that I find really interesting. These two teams share a trait that I think could, to some degree, change the way professional sports work. These two teams are bolstered by mentality of more steak, less sizzle. Neither of these teams have what I think would nowadays be considered a bona fide superstar. I think Nikola Jokic is one, but he's not viewed as one, right? Not, at least not in the way the NBA uses the term. When you think bona fide superstar in the NBA, you think about guys that are putting in 32 points a night, guys that are offensively minded, etc. And Nikola Jokic is certainly that guy, but he's also a triple-double machine. He cares as much, if not more, about boards and assists than he does points. Then they have Jamal Murray, another guy, not been an all-star in his career. If I asked any given NBA fan to name me the top 10 players in the NBA, maybe Jokic made the cut for a few of you before this run through the playoffs. I assume everybody's got him in there now. But none of y'all would name Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray's been a stud. But more importantly, Michael Malone built a team of very good role players who, more importantly, understand their role, accept their role, buy into their role. Aaron Gordon, KCP, Bruce Brown.
They know their role?
And they shut their mouth when it's time to play, right? DeAndre Jordan, for a little while, was like one of the most talked about guys in the NBA. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, DeAndre got his airtime, right? And then DeAndre Jordan just kind of disappeared. Turns out DeAndre has been on the Nuggets, and DeAndre has been a backup reserve role player and done a great job of it. Christian Braun, a guy who doesn't know how to pronounce his own last name. It's Braun, not Brown, but hey, you do you. Christian Braun, a guy that I am willing to bet none of y'all talked about at all during the regular season, had an incredible NBA Finals, was mucho importante to the squad en route to an NBA Finals victory. Jeff Green, all these guys, role players who played their role. They didn't try to elevate above their role, right? And while it was the Denver Nuggets that won the NBA Finals, the same could be said about the Miami Heat. They got Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy's called Playoff Jimmy for a reason. And then outside of Jimmy Butler, it's role players, right? It's role players. And it worked out well for them. And now the Golden Knights have done the same thing. The Golden Knights have a couple of top-tier players. Jack Eichel, Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Jack Eichel is a very important player. Jonathan Marchessault has been huge for the Knights in these playoffs. But I'm talking about other guys. I'm talking about Barbashev. I'm talking about Peter Angelo. I'm talking about Aiden Hill, William Karlsson, Braylon McNabb. These guys are not heralded superstars for the Golden Knights. These guys are not guys who are getting their faces plastered on banners outside of the arena. These guys are guys who know their role, play their role exceptionally well. They are there to support the one or two or three top-tier players on their teams. And it worked. Now, I will go ahead and add to that it works if and only if you have a head coach who can get everybody to buy in. Michael Malone is that coach in Denver. Eric Spoelstra is that coach in Miami. Bruce Cassidy is that coach for the Vegas Golden Knights. If you have a coach that can get these guys to buy in, Teams like that can't be beat. This is why I have said the Boston Celtics should be a powerhouse in the league right now. The Celtics have a very good top two in Tatum and Brown, a solid top-tier role player in Smart right behind them. They have absolutely got the talent as far as role players built in there. What they don't have is a coach that can craft that can take advantage of that, and that can convince guys, I don't need you to be an all-star. Hell, I don't want you to be an all-star. I just want you to be good. I just want you to be good. If you will just be good, we're going to be great. But Cassidy did that in Vegas. Spo did that in Miami. Malone did that in Denver. And when you've got, and by the way, I would argue Florida did the same thing, right? I would argue Florida did the same thing. It's just that the Golden Knights were a better hockey team. I would argue that Paul Maurice put together a team based around Matthew Tkachuk that was filled with good role players who played their role. Unfortunately, they came up against a team who was made to beat them in Vegas, right? So, I wonder now, if you're a GM somewhere, right? Pick a team. The Kansas City Royals in the MLB. If you're a manager of a team, can you replicate this? Can this be replicated? Can you find? And the answer is absolutely it can.
All right, we're looking for boring. You have a little bit too much excitement in your game, so I'm sorry, we're going to have to pass.
Lonzo, are we looking for boring, or are we looking for Phil to hang out at my house for a night? I'm looking for Phil.
Okay. I was going to say, so your house is boring and Phil's going to get, you lost me there for a second. I get what you're saying. But how do you look at a player and go, okay, you fit our system because you're more of a role player? How do you look at someone? I mean, I guess if Jokic is a standard, he's a guy that just goes out there and works hard and wants to go home. If you can find people like that, yeah. But I mean, how do you find people like in a game, at least in the NBA, where the show is part of how you got there?
I think it's about, first off, the Denver Nuggets are not a team traditionally I think the NBA would want to showcase. Because as we have been pointing out for weeks now, they're boring. But you know what else they are? Champions of the world. The best basketball team on planet Earth right now. That's what they are. Right? And so my thought would be maybe the NBA doesn't want this to happen. Maybe the NBA doesn't want boring teams to win titles. But you know who does? The GM of the franchise, the fans of the franchise. Did you look at the ridiculous party happening outside of Denver this past Monday night and think those fans look bored?
Yeah,
no,
it didn't go well for some people. There was an incident, but
there was an incident.
Yeah.
But outside of that incident, which is stupid, tragic, and we should be working to prevent, but that's another discussion for another show. Those people were having the time of their lives because they're champions, right? Because they're champions. So my thought here is I don't really care if Adam Silver is entertained by my team. I care about, do I get a chance to bring the Naismith home? I don't really care if Steve Levy is jumping on ESPN and going, well, they were just grind out victories. Cool. Do you know what victories that you grind out are? Still victories.
I didn't see that towel before.
Oh. Well, you just started looking at the floor with a concerned look.
It's not the floor, it's the wall, dude. The floor is further. I can't see the floor. Did you notice the towel before?
No, I did not.
Okay. I just notice something different about the room.
The old Wofford Terrier towel.
Yeah,
hanging on the wall.
It's
now.
new, and I just noticed it. You could have kept going. Wasn't trying to disrupt.
I didn't know it's behind. Dude, you know me.
I didn't think about that.
You know me.
I told you I'm
if
sleepy.
you give a concerned
Chris
look
Chris
behind
ain't
me,
here.
I'm spinning the chair.
Chris is off this week. He's not going to pop into the room. Nobody else is coming in here.
Doesn't matter. So, my question is, if you're the GM of the Royals, if you're the GM of the Red Wings, do you try to replicate this? And I think the answer is yes, right? I think I am trying to find my one or two superstars, and then I am looking for dudes that, A, supplement their game. It's not just a matter of getting some role players. It's getting role players who fit the style of play of your studs. I look at the Nuggets as being the best illustration of that. They know Murray and Jokic play a two-man game. The question is, who can we have to supplement that? Well, they went and got Aaron Gordon. As I pointed out, before the Nuggets won their title and the night after they did, Aaron Gordon is a spectacular fit for the game of Nikola Jokic because everything he's good at make Jokic's game easier to play.
So basketball goes back to the way it was in the 50s, where it's just basically a team game, which is kind of what Denver did. It's going to hurt the audience because you lose the show.
I see, and I guess this is my problem with that thought. My problem with that thought is no, I don't agree with that because there is still room. For instance, I'll talk about Boston, right? If Boston goes out and they get 3-4 role guys who help make Tatum and Brown's games better, there is still room for Jason Tatum to hit crosses and raised up Jays. There's still room for Brown to hit a couple of step overs, drive to the rack, and tomahawk it. There's still room for the increase. The athletes are more athletic now than they've ever been in human history. They can do mind-numbing things with their abilities. And there's still room for that in the game. Nikola Jokic did some incredible things with his body. Again, boring, but Jokic getting the ball, hitting a spin move, going up between three defenders and laying it up on just the ugliest layup, but it was 80% consistent. To me, that's incredible. I can see how people think that's boring. But imagine if you had all that, and instead of those ugly layups, Jokic threw it down like Shaq. We'd be celebrating that. We'd be painting the guy on the side of buildings.
All right, Joe has a good point. Joe on stream says, no, it goes back to the aughts and tens when the Spurs dynasty was wrecking everyone with team basketball, and it was boring. It really was. But he's right. You don't have to go back to the 50s. You just got to go back to the Spurs.
See, all right. So the theory there is going to be, okay, if that's boring.
Yay, Tony Parker. Yay, Manu Ginobili.
Manu Ginobili. I love that dude. I loved Ginobili. You know why I loved Ginobili? Because he was boring. Because he was just old school.
Tim Duncan.
I learned
wow,
my
he looks
basketball.
like he might have gotten angry. No, never mind.
No, it's just his face. I love that. But I loved the Ginobili, Parker, Duncan Spurs. I loved them. Love them.
But they were boring. And, what were the ratings like when they were on top?
I'm going to say, if that is the logic we follow, then why not get rid of the NBA and just have a one-on-one basketball
because
tournament?
I think the business model has a lot to do with the flair, if you will.
There's still room for that, right? There's still room for that. I will always take a superstar who can do things only superstars can do. I'm just saying the mold now needs to stop being, we need 3 superstars and 2 other really good guys, and we're just going to run a starting 5 that we hope wins us 61 games. Instead, what do you say we run a Nikola Jokic, a Jason Tatum, or a Jalen, right? Let's run somebody like or a Jamal, somebody like that, like a second-tier bona fide star. Let them still do star stuff, but we actually have a team full of role players that supplement them instead of everybody's trying to be a damn superstar. Because, again, I don't care if the Pelicans play the most boring hoops in the world. If they bring a Naismith to New Orleans, guess who's flying home to celebrate? Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show. I got a couple of texts from you, 71307. Start your text with fan. We'll read them on the air when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. I dropped my pen.
Shocker. No, look at how blurry that is. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Can't figure out why.
Well, it's the whole screen. It's not just your camera.
Yeah.
Is y'all, for those of y'all watching, are the TVs blurry? Hang on, I'm gonna reset. We'll be right back. I'm not resetting. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.
All year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Good call. Bucks are a team that have once started a bunch of role players. That being said, Giannis is the only reason they're fun to watch. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's also the reason they won a championship. And if Giannis wasn't hurt this year, they had a real good chance of doing it again, right? I guess that's what I'm saying is, would you rather your team be fun to watch or would you rather your team win a championship? And I'm not saying they can't do both, but I'm saying we're seeing a flux of teams right now that aren't fun to watch, but are really damn good, right? The Bucks are absolutely one of them, Pollux. Absolutely one of them. Are they boring? Yes. They're also champs, right? And if I'm a Pelicans guy, I'm a New Orleans fan.
And that one star is boring. He just wants to go home.
But that's, again, would you rather your team be boring champions or be really exciting and get bounced in the first round? Because I know my answer. It's not even a thought for me.
I think it's everyone's answer.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about the NBA as a whole.
Again, Adam Silver is going to hate it. Without a doubt, Adam Silver is going to hate it. You know who cares? Not me.
All right. Did anyone respond about whether it's blurry on?
Yeah, are y'all wherever y'all are watching, are y'all blurry or is it just our computer and TV crapping out?
That's a brand new TV. We haven't had it but 6 months,
Yeah.
I think. I guess we could check on our own stream and see if it looks blurry.
Fine on Twitch. All right, so it's just us. Thank you, Pollux. Appreciate that, buddy.
Here.
And welcome, by the way. Glad to have you.
Let me do that thing where you just take it down and then you bring it back up. And could be the Wi-Fi over there. Didn't think about that.
My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor.
Either of you watched King fight Creed yet?
No, not yet.
Not
All right,
yet.
so I took it down and brought it back up, and it's fine. So I don't know.
Cool.
Did that engineering trick. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Couldn't get into my Google Drive yesterday, and I went and asked engineering and everything, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't turn it off and turn it back on, and I did that, and it worked.
By the way, if y'all enjoy the show, again, I know I keep asking, but share it around if you don't mind. Put it on your social. Tell your friends about us. We would like to grow the show.
If you don't like my part of the show, just put your hand over half the screen. I don't know what you're talking about, Steven. If that entity were to try to take over me, that would be a problem.
That entity. Pollux the Gamer has joined us on Twitch. He's watching the stream. You can do the same by searching and subscribing to the Rob Brown Show on Twitch or the Fan Upstate on YouTube. He said the Bucks are a team that have one star and a bunch of role players. That being said, Giannis is the only reason they are fun to watch. Correct. I agree with that. You know what else?
So you don't think Murray's fun to watch? I mean,
I think Jamal Murray's a blast to watch.
yeah.
I think Nikola Jokic is boring as hell and also dominant, right? Here's the thing. I enjoy watching the Bucks, and maybe this is just because I have made the transition from young blood to old hat. Maybe I'm now an old hat fan, but I love that brutal underneath physical style of basketball, right? Now, with the Bucks, yes, the Bucks are boring to watch. I'm not disagreeing with that. You know what else the Bucks are? The last small market team to win an NBA title just a couple of years back. A very good basketball team and a basketball team that I firmly believe if Giannis Antetokounmpo is available in that opening round. Remember, he played 11 minutes in game 1. Then he had to come out because of the back. He missed game 2. He missed game 3. He came back game 4, but by that point, it was too little too late. If Giannis doesn't get hurt, and this is the risk when you build around a superstar, if they get banged up, you are in the hurt, man. But if Giannis doesn't get hurt, I firmly believe that the Miami Heat are not in the NBA Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks are. And I think that, frankly, that's a better matchup, right? I think we have a more entertaining finals with Milwaukee-Denver than we did Miami-Denver. Heck of a run from the Heat, but they just could not step with Denver. I think Milwaukee could have. So my question to Pollux the Gamer and everybody else is this. Would you rather your team be a boring champion, or would you rather your team be an exciting and exhilarating squad that gets dumped in the second round every year? Which would you prefer? As Lonzo said when we were on the break and I asked that question to the stream, everybody's answer is gonna be the same. I would rather my team be boring as hell and hanging banners than my team be exhilarating and getting dumped in the second round every year by another exhilarating team. Give me a boring team that wins banners, man, for sure. So my question is, do we start to see other franchises try to replicate what Denver did, what Miami did, what the Vegas Golden Knights did, what the Florida Panthers did? Because, y'all, it's kind of working. It's kind of working. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Hour number 2. Got a lot of stuff to get into in the world of college football. And we'll do that next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
I don't know who got all those, but that is awesome.
There we go. There you go. Now it's 2/3 of the screen.
That's how it should be, right there.
Oh, now I got to bring up my. There you go.
I'll
The
say
one we
it.
put all the work into.
Or this one, which is just way, way, way.
I'm gonna be real with you.
See, the problem with the
I
problem.
really hate that. I just hate that we put so much work into the background. Actually, that's not. It's really not bad. It just limits what you can see of this elaborate background we've built.
Makes my head look smaller. I'm okay with that.
So you go. Sincere. Would y'all prefer this or the regular view? What's better? Is that better? Or is that better? Which would y'all prefer? I can build a new layout and we can use this if you want.
I'm practicing looking up at your picture.
It's like the Brady Bunch, but worse. Which one's better? This one or that one? This one. One.
You can go with
Or
this,
two.
or you can go with that.
One or two. Two or three.
Apparently, you have a burger. I don't know. I think they probably were trying with something else.
Where do I have I want a burger.
No, I think they meant your nose.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. If he did, I would tell him, because I'm that guy. I'm the guy that goes, "Hey man, nose or beard or something." Unfortunately, no one does it for me, and I'll go around and I got something going on up here, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, why didn't you tell me?" I have an entire conversation. You know, I mean, help a brother out. Tell me that I got something in my nose or in my teeth or you know, my eyebrows are unkempt. Let me know. You never know when they're going to happen, Steven. I agree. Rob knows how to do that. I need to learn how to do that because on Saturday I have a problem with 4 panels and it being just needs to be slightly smaller to fit stuff in. You have to show me how to make panels smaller, because I still for Friday or for Saturday I need the panels to be just a little bit smaller.
Panels?
The panels where we're showing up in. What else would you
I
call
don't
them?
think you can. They're formatted.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you knew how to do that.
You can't make them different sizes. Do you mean the actual you on camera or like the background of them?
The
actual what people are seeing of you?
The rectangle, making it
Yeah,
just
no,
a
you
little
can't.
bit smaller. I bet you could probably ask StreamYard to do it. But I don't know if they would charge you for it.
Would be nice.
I'll put it this way. I'm secure enough in my masculinity that I don't care, but there's that lizard brain part of me in the back that's like, that's not the rules, man.
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 9 to noon, only on the Fan, Upstate.
1,000 shows. Okay, that's 4,000 hours. Chip on his shoulder, 240,000 minutes. Temperamental attitude, over 14 million seconds of Mark Ryan popping off at people for that. We're sorry. Wait, what? You're invited to the 1,000th show of Offsides with Mark Ryan, Wednesday, June 21st, 3 to 7 at Ingles Market, 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway, Spartanburg. Offsiders, join us and thank you. The Fan, Upstate.
Now CBS Sports Radio.
The Fan, Upstate. Here's how to get in the game. On your radio at 97.7 FM, 13.
I am working on the next episode of Ray D and Dio. Unfortunately, as Lonzo loves to point out, I have 37 jobs, and the few weekends I have off, I usually end up out of town. I work this
Well, there's
Saturday.
one weekend, but instead he's going to go to AEW.
That's in August, man.
I was asked if I'm going. I'm like, no, I don't like CM Punk. And then I pointed out I have a show on Saturday night. And I polled my listeners and they said, no, do the show. So that's why. I
I
mean,
assume you were going to Me, Joe, and Jack are sitting.
Yeah, I already saw that because
Three rows
you
off the
didn't
ring.
offer for me to go.
Were you gonna go? I've
no,
asked you to do
no,
a lot of Saturday stuff. You never say
no,
yes.
but just a hey, you want to go?
You're like
Us-
Courtney right now.
no.
You know I'm gonna say no, but ask me anyway.
Well, yeah, it's courtesy.
Our numerous.
I hope the show sucks. I hope you go there and people don't
This
show up.
Sucks every day, man.
I'm not talking about this show. This
Oh.
show's award winning.
Oh, Lonzo's upset.
I'm not upset.
Lonzo's
I'm not. I do have problems with abandonment. I can't even say the word anymore. It's just because it hurts so bad.
And the Oscar goes to.
Listen, I wouldn't invite me either because I'm not exciting. I'm going there to actually watch the show, not to participate with the crowd or anything. Although I've been known to do a few things in the crowd. I've done. I probably wouldn't do scissoring. What does that mean, Rob?
I'll tell you when you grow up, Lonzo.
Yeah. I did the stand up thing with Finn Bauer. I've memorized Jericho's Judas song. It got disappointing. I didn't get to sing it the first time. Then later on, I saw it, and you get just because you need to ask, is Lonzo having a good time? Yes, I am. So because of that, you decided to not invite me. And no, I wouldn't have been able to go. But it's about the invitation.
Okay.
It is. So do you have someone a friend who is going to say no to something? Because you understand they have work obligations, but just because it's a cool gesture. Hey man, we're going. You want to go? You've asked me before, and I shocked you and went, let's I want to go. Let's go to Columbia.
Let's explain to people what's happening. In August, on a Saturday, All Elite Wrestling is running a show at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. I went ahead.
Why are you using that tone for? I mean,
because I need people to know what's happening here because I'm right.
This is a scolding teacher tone.
AEW is coming to the Well in August, and the show is a Saturday night show. Well, Lonzo has a work obligation on Saturday nights, the Upstate Pulse from 7 to 9 on WORD, the pop culture phenomenon that it is. So Lonzo doesn't do things on Saturdays. I have asked Lonzo to do a lot of things on Saturdays. He has never done them, and I respect that and understand that. So Joey B, Jackie G, and myself decided, YOLO, let's spend too much on tickets. And we bought.
And Joe's like, yeah, Alonzo's pretty boring. We don't want to take him, man. He'll bring us down. We can't have a good time with him there.
No, but we are going to get drinks beforehand, which I know you wouldn't have been in for.
Okay, first of all, that's normal, right?
Yes, for me.
Yeah,
So, we got tickets.
You seem smiling and happy when you arrive at the arena. That's all I'm saying.
Usually am. We are sitting like 4 rows off the ring, right behind the announcers, right? We got tickets we paid too much money for to go because we're excited, but it's on a Saturday night. And if I would have dropped on Zoe, hey, do you want to drop $150 on tickets and miss your show? The answer would have been no.
It would have been laughter.
Right.
No, it would have been, hey man, thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate that. I feel like, words cannot express how happy I am that you remembered and thought of me. But no, because of work obligations and the fact that I am a producer, whereas you are talent that makes all the money, and I, make the pennies.
Swimming in cash. I'm like Scrooge McDuck. I knew the answer was no, so I didn't ask because I had to, like, it was like, are we buying these tickets now or not? Because I was watching.
So then I find out, online where most people find out.
It's not a secret.
It's like, ooh, I lost my job. I found out online. Ooh, my girl just left me. I found out online.
Oh,
ooh,
my PGA Tour just sold out to the Live Tour. I found out on Twitter.
Ooh, Rob just didn't think of me and decided to, yeah.
So I did think. I think Lonzo's not skipping his show and dropping $150 on tickets to go to this on a Saturday night. It's not happening.
What do you guys do? I mean, do you if you know someone's going to say no, do you ask them anyway? I'm just curious. Text line 71307 because I want to know if maybe I'm just being that me again and taking offense where there doesn't need to be any.
Yes. Yes, that's what's happening.
I realize I'm a flawed individual and I try to make myself better every day, but I find it hard to believe that there aren't others like me out there. Doesn't mean we're not all flawed, but we're flawed together.
Yeah. Texter says, thanks to Ray, I opened my mind and watched hockey last night, and it was pretty intense. Those guys are talented. Boo you, Ray. Boo you.
Way to go, Ray.
Way to go, Ray. You are opening the hearts and minds.
By the way, I
of
know
South
I know
Carolinians.
who you are, Ray.
It's Stick to Sports guy. That's who Ray is. You know it, I know it.
Yeah, I'll tell you who it is later.
Oh, you actually, you know who Ray is.
I am 97% sure.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued. Is somebody I know?
No, it's not a
Okay.
it's not a fake guy. It's just another one of those listeners who I will never listen to. He sent you emails. He's been on the air before. He always
Gotcha.
changes his name to Ray, even though that's not the name that shows up on the call screen. Yeah, it's that guy.
All right, let's get into some stuff here, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. And I want to go with this. I get that a lot of you still don't like or maybe understand or both NIL in college sports. I get it. Okay. I don't agree with you, but I get it.
I'm interrupting. The understand part, I don't get what you mean. I don't understand what you mean by understand. Are you saying people don't understand that players are being paid for their name and image and likeness?
No, I'm saying
and that they're being
that
coerced to come to a place or recruited in a way?
I am saying that I think that a lot of you think that NIL is colleges paying and therefore employing student athletes to play basketball or football or baseball or whatever at their school. And that is, again, not what's happening. But this I find very interesting. The athletic director at the University of Arkansas, Woo Pig Sooie, is named Hunter Yurachek. And Hunter Yurachek was one of a handful of Southeastern Conference representation that went to Capitol Hill this week to ask legislators to do something about NIL. Now, as I pointed out on the show a week and a half ago, Hunter Yurachek nor Nick Saban nor anybody else has, said what they want done. They just said it needs to be fixed. They haven't told us what the problem is. It just needs to be fixed. But this is what was really interesting from Hunter Yurachek when he was speaking to the media about this. He said, this is an opportunity to focus on athletics and some of the pressures that we're facing and communicate that given the realities in college athletics, Congress is the place that can fix the issues that we have. End quote. Again, okay, but what are the issues? And I don't like it is not an issue. Yurachek went on and said, quote, young men and women are making decisions not to go to Major League Baseball or the WNBA or the NBA because they can make more money in college. Does that make any sense that you can make more money by staying in college than you can by going and being a professional athlete? That's where we have some issues in college athletics. I don't understand the argument here. I don't get it because the overwhelming majority of college athletes are not going to the show, regardless of what show it is. What is it, like 1.1% of college football players make it to the NFL?
I think that's kind of high.
And I think that's high, yeah. It's like what? It's like less than 1%. Out of every 100 football players, one kid is going to make it to the league. So, Hunter, This might shock you, but that means that over 99% of players are going to make more money with NIL than they would in the NFL because the vast majority are not going to the NFL. Second off,
By the way, really quick, just because we want to be accurate, according to the internet, it's actually 1.6%
Okay.
that make it. So you were actually pretty close.
1.6%, which means that, and I'm bad at math, but 98.4% of college football players will never go to the NFL. I don't know what the percentage is for college baseball players. In fact, let's look that up too. Percentage of college baseball players that go pro. According to Home Teams Online. According to Home Team Online, an overwhelming, a whopping, Lonzo, 10.5% of college baseball players will go to the show, will go to the league. And by the way, that doesn't mean the bigs.
Yeah, I was going to say,
That
do
means
they
the
count?
MLB system.
Yeah, do they count the minor
Right.
leagues, triple, whatever?
Right. And by the way, like for instance, in Florida, where they just passed a law that makes it to where professional baseball teams, minor league baseball teams, are not obligated to pay minimum wage anymore. So even the ones that do go to the show, of them, just a fraction of those will ever get to play in Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park.
What's minimum wage in baseball, though? You're talking about just the
No,
regular minimum
I'm
wage?
talking regular minimum wage.
You got to be pretty low to be.
Yup.
Okay.
Yup. Hence a lot of the anger. Now, so that means,
Although, you said less than minimum wage. I was going to say, if you're making minimum wage to play baseball, you're still making minimum wage to play baseball.
correct, which is great, but it's not really. So, with all of that being said, I don't get the argument here, because if you want to do what's best for our student athletes, it kind of sounds like you're trying to kick them out of college, right? It kind of sounds like you are complaining that they're sticking around too long, which is a complaint you would make if what? If you felt you were investing in someone who wasn't helping you get a return on that investment, right? You're not being asked to pay these players. In fact, you're not allowed to pay these players. None of your dollars are going there.
Well, stipends and things like that.
Sure. But
it's
again,
kind of like
that's
being paid.
the cost of dragging a kid.
And in my opinion, a scholarship is being paid.
Sure.
So-
If you want to phrase it that way, then yes. But you can't give them any more than that, right? So what is the argument here?
Do those rules still exist about you can give them a bagel, but you can't put, jelly on it and all that stuff anymore in the NIL era?
I don't know. I've heard that example before.
Because now the jelly could be sponsored. And so then it would be acceptable if it's NIL jelly, right?
That's a sentence nobody's ever said before. I would bet that is a sentence nobody's ever said before.
I warned you ahead of time.
Zoe is on one today.
No sleep. Doesn't mean it's not a good point. I mean, a good question. I believe it's an interesting question. I don't think it's one that I could Google and find an answer for, though.
Google NIL jelly.
I think
see what happens.
I think NIL, while it has solved a lot of problems for players who are getting paid, it's also created a bunch of other problems and gray areas that people don't know how to, including institutions or whatever, how to regulate, and it needs to be regulated.
And that's fine. But, and I'm not asking
Yes, I'm calling for some more government over here.
regulation.
The government needs to take over and make sure that everything is done properly, because that's what the government does. Government.
So, I'm not asking this. I'm including Lonzo in the audience that I'm asking this question to, but I'm directing this question at Hunter Yurachek, etc. What problems? And what evidence do you have of these problems, right? What evidence do you have that this is legitimately a problem? because all I get from the quote, young men and women are making decisions not to go to Major League Baseball or the WNBA or the NBA because they can make more money in college. Does that make any sense that you can make more money by staying in college than you can by going and being a professional athlete? That's where we have some issues in college athletics. Who? What NBA lottery player is getting more money with NIL than they are in the freaking NBA? None. There are none. And even if there were, let's say there were, how is that bad for you that an NBA lottery player is going to rep your colors for another year? That seems like a great thing.
See, I think you're thinking top level. Maybe they're thinking bench role players. We're not going to have enough of these guys that we need to bring in to fill out benches in football and basketball or whatever because they're staying in college.
Sounds to me like you got poor roster management. Do you understand?
I'm trying to get into the mind of, and maybe that's what they're thinking.
There are not any backup left guards that could make more money in the NFL. No, they couldn't. Less than 2% of college football players go pro. Now, I don't know what the numbers are for women's basketball players in the WNBA. That might be a reality for like Ionescu, who else? Like the top tier players.
I know if I am an offensive lineman and I think highly of myself, but I'm realistic to know that making it to the NFL is a long shot. I might be, a free agent at best, but I can go to whatever that school was that has the thing just for linemen. That if you're an offensive lineman, I come here and I get paid. I'm going to that school. I'm doing everything I can to get to that school so I can get paid.
Cool. Good.
It's still coercion. It's still recruiting. I just, and I think some of the coaches who are saying that that's kind of unfair, it is unfair. I still don't see how you regulate it. Once you put it out there, it's out there.
So then can your school not create the same thing? Yes, they can. So it's not unfair.
No, because
you just don't want to do that thing.
Because the school is not supposed to create it.
I didn't say the school.
You said
okay.
You said your school.
You're right.
You said your school.
You're right. Could your school's NIL collective do the same thing?
Absolutely.
Okay, then.
But I don't know why my school has an NIL collective when my school is not supposed to be involved in it.
Your school is not involved in NIL collectives.
But you keep throwing your school on there, and that's the problem. That's the perception. Everyone believes, not everyone, but there's a good portion of people who believe that the school is actually involved in these collectives, especially when they now have, they're now teaching the kids about this kind of stuff, about how to handle it and all this, which is not a bad thing. But at the same time, if it's associated with the school, the general public believes that the school is involved, and the school is not supposed to be involved.
So there's a lesson that a lot of us learn, and some of us never do. It is a lesson that I am watching spread across the broadcasting landscape nowadays. And that lesson, and it's going to hurt some people's feelings, I don't care. That lesson is your perspective don't mean boat in any given situation.
Unless you're like me, a person of the people who speaks for the people, and the people are behind me because they know I have their voice.
Those people's perspectives don't mean boat either. Neither does mine, for the record. The difference between me and a lot of people is I know my perspective don't mean boat.
By the way, I appreciate you guys listening and watching and everything.
So do I. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
You're all amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's irrelevant. How you feel about any given thing is irrelevant. What is relevant is what's actually happening and how it's impacting other people. And I mean, how it impacts you, but this doesn't impact 99% of the American public. It just doesn't. So if you are upset because Oregon has Phil Knight behind it, creating and backing NIL collectives, sure. If you would like to make the argument that NIL collectives should have an investment cap on them, right? Collectives should not be allowed to give more than $1 million total dollars to athletes in any given year. All right, fine. But tell me why. And I will go one step further.
I don't think there needs to be a cap. That's not the thing I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about quit making it look like a school's not involved when they are, and quit acting like there shouldn't be outrage when one school's collective outbids another.
I would need a couple of things from you. I would need, number one, for you to prove me a school is involved, in which case, please do.
So you're
then
going to
I will
ask
be-
for identification or a passport or something.
No, we've met. I would ask from you proof that this is happening, what school's doing it, and I will be the first to bring the hammer down on them. Not a problem. I will bring the hammer down. Like Mjolnir from the heavens, bring the hammer down. But you got to prove to me it's happening.
That's a heavy hammer.
I am worthy. The second thing is, as far as NIL's raising the money and bidding, you've got to tell me why that's bad. You got to tell me why that's a bad thing. Now, you can make the argument that, well, it's bad for parity in college football. And I might even say that you are correct, but I would also point out that so are booster clubs, and that's never been a problem to y'all before.
By the way, I'm not saying it's bad. You want just quit acting like it's not happening. Quit acting like this isn't free agency, because it absolutely is free agency. Quit acting like this is a more pure form of whatever. This is a team going, hey, we got more money than they do. You need to come and play for us.
Not a team doing that.
All right. A collective
Sure.
of fans
Sure.
are saying we have more money than they do.
Sure.
Come over here and play here.
Sure.
And NIL is legal now. I have no problem with that, but quit acting like that's not happening,
Okay.
because it's absolutely happening.
So I will grant you, I will even say, I will skip out on pretentious Rob. And I will say, cool. Yep, that's happening. So what? So what?
So quit acting
Okay, I just
outraged,
did.
outraged that people are saying it's happening. Quit acting like it's not happening. Just come out and say, hey, highest bidder. That's how this works. It's business, it's capitalism. That's how it works. We want your kid to come play for our favorite school. We got more money than they do. Come on over here. And as long as you back it up and don't renege like the one guy that we know of was
Florida.
last year. Yeah,
Yep.
as long as you don't back out of the deal.
Well, that was
Fine.
That was the NIL
No,
collective backing
that's
out
what I
of it.
mean. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the collective. As
So-
long as you don't back out, I mean, it's fair game. Again, it's not college athletes. It's not all. This is a business. Just act like it is what it is, and quit throwing up this glamour like it's something else.
So NIL collectives are a thing. They're just new age boosters. It's the same as boosters used to be. It's boosters give their money to the schools.
New age booster.
And I will tell you where people like Hunter Yurachek are coming from. Guys like Nick Saban. You want to know why they're begging Congress for legislation? It's not because they're worried about the purity of the game. It is because if you're a booster who used to give, say, $1 million a year to the University of Alabama, now you give $500,000 to the university and $500,000 to an NIL collective. Guess what that means? It means Bama's $500,000 in the hole. They don't want that to be the case anymore. They want to create a way where the money still flows through them. That's all this is about. It's all it's ever been about. And I know that because they're not putting anything else on the table. Let's take a break. We're back after this. Your thoughts are welcome. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate.
Warehouse.
All right, guys, got a live read here. Stay right there. We'll be right back. thought we were going to have to call the ambulance. It was bad. Anyway, let's get to some breaking news here. Peter Burns of the SEC Network is reporting that in 2024, every Southeastern Conference team will play either Texas or Oklahoma. And then the year after that, my understanding is every SEC team will then play either Texas or Oklahoma, whoever they did not play in 2024. Now, we will find out this evening who is home and who is away for each of those.
So how do you get that deal to make sure that you get to play everybody?
What do you mean? As Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a deal so much as if you are the SEC, you want everybody to be exposed to your newest members right out of the gate, right?
Is that, if you're Texas or Oklahoma, are you happy with that?
I mean, I think I think it works out okay.
Yeah, we get to play Alabama and Georgia.
Well, no, because every SEC team will play Texas or Oklahoma, not and Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
So Texas and Oklahoma won't see.
But there's still a possibility.
They will over the course of 2 years.
Okay.
So if you're real down on your luck, you might get Bama and Georgia both in 1 year, which, yeah, that would suck. But it also means that there's another year where you wouldn't get Texas or Oklahoma. And keep in mind, in 2024, divisions are going away. So it's just overall record that seeds the SEC championship game. But yeah, no, this is the SEC wanting everybody to get an up close and personal look at the new schools, right?
So this isn't we want all of the teams that are in the SEC now to have a win. So we're scheduling them against Texas and Oklahoma.
Look,
I know Oklahoma's been good. Texas,
by the way, I think Brent Venables is feeling right about now.
Well, he probably won't be there next year. So, or we'll see if he makes it through this year.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And will he return home?
No.
You don't think Clemson fans would want him back?
Oh, I'm not saying they wouldn't want him back. I'm just saying I don't think he comes back, right? Same reason that Nick Saban was never going to go back to Alabama, even though he was, I don't know how many times I have to say this. LSU. He was never going to go back to LSU. Don't know how many times this is. I will not be the head coach at the University of Alabama. Oh, cha-ching! Never mind. Anyway, the SEC Network tonight will host their schedule reveal. They timed it out beautifully, by the way. No other sports competition to go up against tonight outside of the WNBA.
I mean, it's a good move, but aren't you kind of desperate if you're watching that? I mean, you can just look online afterwards and go, oh, yeah, we play them.
I mean,
and the next team they're going to play, drum roll, please. And then we'll all talk about how I don't get the appeal of that.
To me, it's the same as NFL.
Are you hyped up and excited about that?
I mean, if college football's your passion, yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about you personally. You don't have an SEC team, so.
I mean, I've got a little heart left in LSU because I'm from Louisiana and most of my family went there. Yada yada. So
the fiance, is she excited about watching this? Because we know what team she pulls for, which is an SEC team.
$1 to a donut. She doesn't even know what's happening.
Right. Because it's just, hey, our schedule is going to be revealed. We have a time slot. We got to put something in it. So we're going to do this. And if you spend a lot of time on this, I don't get that.
So here's what I'll say. Number one, if you're the type of dude that sends emails to the host of your local sports talk radio show, because in the midst of the NBA finals and the NHL finals, he's not talking about Clemson football.
Right.
I wasn't going to name names.
Well, it's just an example. It's a common name.
It is.
It's just like, like John. I mean,
listener made up for this exact situation.
We'll go with Ray. Yeah.
Making that up. If you are like a super fan, as there are a lot of them, I don't know if you've ever been to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Lonzo.
Don't plan on going to Tuscaloosa.
I'll be real with you. It's a nicer experience than I thought it was going to be.
How long of a drive is that?
From here, I don't know, 5 hours.
Oh, it's not as far as I thought. So I actually could drive to Alabama.
Let's see. It is if you drive 5 hours and 23 minutes.
All right. So
It's just past Birmingham.
if we were to get press passes to go see Alabama play
we
South
would go.
Carolina, yeah.
In fact, I would
yeah.
even go so far as to say the next time SC is in Tuscaloosa, we might go.
Why not?
We might go. It's actually a really nice experience. I've been there twice. Both times I had a beautiful time, despite my constant mockery of Bama fans, because it's easy.
And if we go at a certain time, it's not going to be cold, so I don't have to worry about my shirt problem. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, we'll be good.
So I've been to Tuscaloosa twice, and here's what I'll tell you. Diehard Alabama fan, it doesn't it doesn't adequately describe Alabama fans, right?
Well, I know a couple of Georgia fans in the building. Are they going to be excited and watching that show tonight?
I don't. Again, here's what I'll say. Not every Georgia fan's that way.
I
There
know.
are a
I
lot
know
of
it sounds
Georgia
like
fans
I'm being disparaging to a competitor for what they're airing, but I just don't get the appeal when, like, a minute later, you can just look online and there you go, find out.
I get it. I could also say, well, why watch Raw if you can just tune in and see the card results?
It's not. It's not the same though.
It is.
It's
It's an entertainment. Look, this is for entertainment, right? It's for entertainment. It's fun to be able to immediately start going, okay, we don't know the dates, but here's our home and away.
So
We're 8-4.
if you're that one guy on ESPN who ends up on a lot of the shows, you're like, oh man, I got to do that show. I don't want to do that show. Or is this just a way for them to pull out Herb Street and those guys who get paid a lot of money and have them? Is McAfee going to be on it?
Good question.
I might change my mind.
It's a good question.
If McAfee's going to be on it, it might be entertaining
They're ridiculous if they don't put him on it.
because he's a part of game day now. So
Look, it's for fans. All right. It's just for super fans. That's what it is. I don't have a problem with it. I will say this. It's very NFL-ish, right? It feels very NFL-ish. Every year we do the schedule reveal, and every year the sports talkers in every city in the NFL dedicate hours to breaking down the schedule, homes, away, runs, road trips, et cetera, et cetera. It just feels very NFL-ish. I don't have a problem with that. As long as we, again, all acknowledge that at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of the Southeastern Conference is what? To make money. That's the goal. This is a money-making endeavor, because I can tell you, am I like super stoked about it? Man, not really. Not any more than I am any other TV show that's on television tonight. Will I watch it? Yeah, probably. Because A, there's not really any other sports on, or at least none that are going to impact this show. If I'm flipping channels and there's a WNBA game of note, I'll stop and watch it. But, you know, outside of baseball, Braves playing a doubleheader today against the Tigers after last night gets rained out. Spencer Strider on the bump. I'm absolutely watching that. I'll flip around some MLB games. But outside of that, I'm watching this.
Try to find out who's hosting. I can't find it. So
I'm not sure. It's on SEC Net, so I assume Feinbaum's going to be there.
will Tebow be there?
You know Tebow's likely going to be there. Again, I don't know how
Will the
much
big
interaction.
Swagoo be there?
No idea. And I guess this is the other part is I don't really know anything else about it. What I know is they're going to release the 2024 the 2024 opponents. They're going to reveal who you're playing home, who you're playing away, and you're going to find out, are you playing Texas or are you playing Oklahoma in year one?
All right. So I don't watch the NFL reveal things either. And wouldn't watch the Big Ten thing. I'm just trying to, are you that hard up for football that you're willing to watch something? It's a big deal finding out who your team's playing. It really is. But are you that desperate for that? I mean, I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about there must be an appeal for it or they wouldn't be putting the show out there, I guess. Although there are a lot of canceled shows that they thought people would like and they didn't.
I mean, for me, yeah. There's never a point where I'm not going to be into some college football discussion. Never a point where I'm going to get mad about some college football, even if it's just talking, being on my TV. And again, now, If this was last night and it was up against the NHL Stanley Cup Final, no, I'm watching the NHL Stanley Cup Final elimination game. If it's Monday against the NBA Finals Game 5, no, I'm watching the NBA.
So you're watching this instead of AEW when you could be watching AEW and just look at your phone and go, oh, okay, they're playing that team.
So the other part of this, and I don't know if this is just because I'm in the game or if this is an experience amongst fans, but the other thing is I like to hear commentary, opinion, thoughts from other people about what's happening, right? That is why we open the phone line up on this show. That's why we open the text line up on this show. Because I like hearing the input from other people. It shapes the way that I think about things. So for me to hear the take of Timmy Terrific and Feinbaum, I'm not a Feinbaum guy, but to hear the takes from all these guys, yeah, I like discussion.
I know I sound negative when it comes to this, but I am interested from a programming standpoint, as someone who's, a part of some of that stuff here, what they think is the appeal of that. That's all.
To me, it's just discussion. It's just something to talk about, right? It's just something to talk about. Because let's be real, Zoe, you and I know this. I told this to the fiance last night. You and I have just hit the hardest 2 months of the year for you and I, right? Because what do we have from here until September? We have camps and we have baseball.
We have.
That's it.
What would you do with the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
That's what we have.
Yeah. We have what's your favorite college football helmets of all time? Like we have just hit the doldrums of sports talk radio season.
But after COVID, it's easy.
Also correct. The point is, discussion is what we have right now. What carries us from now until NFL training camp is talk. Like we'll do next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, got another live read. Stay right there, and I will unmute us when we come back.
The Odyssey app.
Back and unmuted, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, pretty much what I was saying. But again, Eyes are going to tune in. They're going to sell some advertising on it. And at the end of the day, that's what matters.
So I left the air alone today. So maybe those adjustments that Andrew had made actually worked.
Yeah, because it's nice in here
It's
today.
not cold.
It's comfortable in here today.
It was one of the first things I talked to him about because I was when the first week he was here, I was in Word filling in, and it was like 60 degrees in there. And he said he knew exactly what it was. And then, like a week or two later, we get the email saying that they were working on it. Something to do with baffles or something. I don't know.
Baffles.
And by the way, Chris, it's the opposite. Rob deserves medals and more money for working with me. Trust me.
That is not true.
I cause him to have a tick every once in a while. His eye just goes. I can't recreate it. It's like, oh no, here we go. One of my favorite people ever to work with. Chris, it's not the same with him because he doesn't invite me to anything. But
All right. So how does
and I'm going downhill every day. But his hair looks awesome.
does look at
Look at how much there is. Oh my gosh.
that. I can still rock the swoop.
This is like the longest ever, I think, since
no,
we've worked
actually
together.
last time. So last time it was longer. It's just I had the back cut short, so it was like longer on this. It was like down here.
It's like a reverse mullet.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called. I don't know.
I had it short in the back as a consequence of my previous haircut, and this time I'm letting it go in the back too.
Yes, Joe, I am interested in that. But will they let Adam Cole beat him? Because right now there really is no competition. But Adam Cole's not a pillar. So how could he win? Only pillars could defeat another pillar.
It's like Highlander, but worse.
Don't you disparage Highlander now. The original was excellent. Two was a little weird. What's up, Keegan?
Keegan, welcome in, big dog. As always.
I think I probably watched all the Highlanders. So the weird one was it 2 when they actually brought Sean Connery back? And it's like, how, or was it 3 when they put magic in it and showed that they came from another planet? It was weird.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from the Free Odyssey.
The Rob Brown Show.
All right, wrapping up the second hour of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. The great one, Lonzo's over there. 844-326-3663. That is the number to be a part of the show. Text us 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air when we come back in the next hour. I got a few more things I want to get into. Talk a little Braves baseball very briefly. I also want to talk about the Oakland A's, not the fact that the Oakland A's are on a 7-game winning streak, ladies and gentlemen, because they are. But I want to talk about the fans of Oakland, because I am genuinely heartbroken for them. Yesterday was the Oakland A's reverse boycott, right? The A's have been de facto boycotting their baseball team for a while now. And I get it. I absolutely understand why. Their owner has dismantled the team and gotten rid of every bit of talent they have had for like a long time. They have let Oakland Coliseum fall into disrepair. And then when they decide to move the team to Vegas, they show up and they go, oh, it's the fans' fault. The fans aren't showing up, as if there's, a reason to. So they did yesterday their reverse boycott. They checked in at just a tick shy of 30,000 fans in Oakland Coliseum. And then as they were there, they got news that the state of Nevada had approved a $380 million deal that will help the A's ownership buy their new stadium in Vegas. Effectively, while they were mid-protest, while they were spending money to be at the ballpark and support the A's and send a big middle finger to the ownership of Oakland, they found out that the death knell had come. That Vegas approved the funding to buy the stadium, which means the A's are gone. Heartbreak City. And I want to talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
I wish he said buckle up, Buttercup. It would just be awesome if he did that.
Bill, this update is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. When Bill Foley started the Vegas Golden Knights, he said he wanted a Stanley Cup by year 6. His team beat that deadline last night, romping to a 9-3 win in Game 5 with the Panthers. Head coach Bruce Cassidy didn't know about that prognostication.
And then there was quiet as they prepared for the final hour of the day.
So it's all right. It's a little bit of pressure here, but here we are. Like I said, I'm happy for Bill. He's a terrific owner.
6 years is the quickest a true expansion team has ever won the cup. Mark Stone scored 3 times last night. Jack Eichel had 3.
Did you see the email that we just got from corporate?
Nope.
I'm just curious how that applies to something you were just talking about. Maybe I'm misreading it. You see the one I'm talking about?
Not yet. I got logged out.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
About not talking about a certain thing on the radio.
I did not get it. At least not yet.
It says legal updates. You didn't?
Not yet.
It says to intercom personalities, even though we're not intercom
I don't
anymore.
really have much of a personality.
I can forward it to you. It may. It's. I don't know. I think it has more to do with advertising, but I will send it to you anyway. Why are you getting all weird? Just send.
You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com.
Or maybe I won't.
In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco.
Ha! I beat you.
Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco.
So it may not be that big of a deal, but I did send it to you.
ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
Maybe you got that stuff going to your spam.
I just checked. Refresh my mailbox. Nope. I don't have anything from anybody actually since 9/31. Should be excited about the Orioles. Young team playing well. Adley Rushman finally coming into his own. Ced Mullins is maybe the most exciting young player in baseball right now. And the Orioles just will not go the hell away in the AL East, man. 4 games back of Tampa, even with the incredible win streak the Rays went on. 4 games up on the third place Yankees. 6 games up on the Blue Jays. Red Sox have fallen off. They were hot for a minute and then
Gable's in the first break.
Gable's in the first break. Outstanding.
Had to reboot this computer this morning, and it's been acting funky with the updates ever since. So I did send it to you.
Okay.
If you haven't gotten it yet, it's probably the computer.
Ding, 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 ding.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile, unleash your power. And the ding.
And the ding. Ding dong. Hello.
Michael.
Maybe I should show up at that show. You know, the house that Lonzo built.
I can't imagine. And the Oakland A's fans are not the first city of fans to lose a team. I know.
Yeah, talk to Cleveland about that.
Yeah.
Talk to Charlotte about that. Even though they both got teams back, still.
I mean, I would say Seattle with the Supersonics is probably the best example.
See, I will always go back. I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, but Art Modell stealing them away in the middle of the night. And I still think of that dude who drove like 1,000 miles just to pee on Art Modell's grave after he died.
You respect that? I respect that.
I don't want to, but yeah,
You do.
I do. I
You
mean,
do.
that's the kind of hatred they had for Art Modell and how he did that. Oakland A's fans had that same kind of hatred. I don't know.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Because here's the thing with Modell. Lonzo, if that lady leaves that, okay, I was about to get heated, Jack. When Art Modell left and stole away in the dead of the night, right? You've all heard that story. When Art Modell left and stole away in the dead of night, it was shady, but it was like immediate separation.
It was cowardly is
Yeah,
what it was.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
It was, if you're a fan, it's an immediate cut, right? Like you wake up the next day and you just don't have a team anymore. If you're Oakland, your team's playing in your backyard for the next year and a half, and you already know they're gone, right? Like you already know Oakland's gone. In fact, you know what's even going to be more frustrating? I'm going to call the shot now. You know what's going to be even more frustrating than that? Now that they got their way, because they did. Yesterday, Nevada approved and Vegas approved a funding deal to pump $380 million into the Oakland A's getting their new stadium in Vegas. And keep in mind, two things. Number one, we now know for a fact sports in Vegas can succeed. The Vegas Aces have won a WNBA championship. The Vegas Golden Knights have gone to 2 Stanley Cups and won one of them. Right?
And the Raiders play there.
The Raiders. And Vegas will be hosting a Super Bowl sooner rather than later. Sports works in Vegas. Why wouldn't it? Sin City, USA is always a place people are going to love sports. Can break up the casinos with 3 hours of baseball. I'm going to do that. The second thing is, now that Vegas pretty much has paved the way from Oakland, California to Las Vegas, Nevada, the A's don't have to purposely suck anymore, right? Now, they probably aren't going to pump a bunch of money into the Coliseum to make it better. Why would they? They're there one more season. But you know what I'm very interested in? Do the A's try to be a good team next year? Right? Do they try to build a little momentum before they roll up into Vegas? Because my thought is, imagine being an Oakland fan. Imagine your team sending the Matt Olsons and the Sean Murphys out over the past couple of years, intentionally being bad at baseball, pardon me. Intentionally being bad at baseball. They get the green light to go to Vegas, and then they immediately turn around and start signing guys, right? Decide, let's not be by far and away the lowest payroll in Major League Baseball anymore. Let's be something else, right? Let's be middle of the pack. Let's sign some guys. Let's bring in some talent. Let's build a nice little foundation for the team so that when we get to Vegas, we can have a good time.
I mean, the other option is just to get rid of everybody and build when you get to Vegas. Why would you want to do that, though?
Because don't you want to hit the ground running?
But baseball does that. They'll just get rid of everybody and
Sure.
start over.
And that's what the A's have effectively taken the first step. Now, they didn't take the first step in order to build a new foundation. They took the first step in order to make the fans not show up anymore. Lonzo, this is literally the plot of Major League. It's literally life resembling art. It is the plot of Major League, right? We are
I wish I could quote
you Jobu away.
I was going to say, I wish I could quote the coach when he's too old to run for the towel. I can't remember exactly what he says.
That's 2 wins, boys. 1 more makes 3. That's a winning
So
streak.
do they have a picture of the owner in the locker room? They take a piece of it off every victory.
I hope not. Because John Fisher is not a pretty man. By the way, this is like a B+ effort.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like a B+ effort.
No.
At the coach from the movie Major League.
No, it's not. I think people can help me here. It's not even a B+. It's not. This is one that should never happen again. So, I mean, you do some pretty good ones, but this one, not it.
Vaughn. All right.
You put some effort into that one. You got a little bit closer.
Like you gotta put some guts into it. All right. Anyway.
No, you got to have that big old mustache. That's
Yeah.
what helps you do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing. So it's literally the plot of Major League. When I look at the Browns leaving, like you said, dead at night. You woke up the next day, they're not a team anymore. When I look at the A's moving, it's different because they have to watch their team play in the backyard for another 1.5 years before they leave. Now, after Hurricane Katrina, way back in the day, after Katrina, the Saints were going to move, right? The Saints were going to move. The NFL was fine with them moving. Tom Benson was looking into moving. There were thoughts that they were going to go to Oklahoma City or San Antonio or wherever else. And Fortunately, Jerry Jones put the kibosh on another NFL team in Texas. He didn't want another one to compete with. And fortunately, Oklahoma City never really felt like a threat, so they ended up staying for me. But I was kind of in that spot of like, I'm not have a team anymore. It's heartbreaking, dude.
So what do you do with your fandom? If you are an Oakland A's fan, what do you do with it?
Genuinely going to ask you that question.
Yeah, I mean, do you go, okay, free agent looking for another team, or do you stick with if that's a team that your dad watched and your grandpa watched and got you into it, and it's just a part of who you are? Aren't you still a fan of the team?
So this is what I said.
Because it's not the team's, it's not the player's fault.
Correct. This is what I said when the Saints looked like they were going to move, right? Because again, my grandma, grandpa were Saints fans. My dad grew up a Saints fan. My mom is a Saints fan. I was wrapped in a Saints blanket when I was born, right? The way I said, if the Saints leave, I'm not a fan anymore, right? Because I was a fan of the New Orleans Saints. And no matter what they call themselves or where they go, they're not that team anymore. They're a new team. It's kind of like when you break up with somebody and they do you dirty and you go, oh, we can still be friends. No, you can't. I can't be friends with you, right? You're the same person in name, but you're not the same person I was friends with. I'm not friends with you anymore, right? I hurt for Oakland fans. That is a proud fan base of a proud franchise with a lot of history to it. And they're watching a dude in John Fisher, who is a billionaire, basically say, I don't really care about your fandom, to be honest with you. I don't care about your fandom because my bank account's more important. I could stay here. I could try. Here's the thing. If they stayed in Oakland, California and actually fielded a competitive team, like they did 3 years ago when they were in the playoffs, that stadium's full. And it's one of the bigger stadiums in MLB. They're now going to have a middle of the pack stadium in MLB. I don't know. What I do know is they are going to be more profitable in Vegas. Texter said, did you see the Las Vegas fans? They looked as excited as Jokic did to win the championship. They aren't bought in because they aren't actually locals. I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you there, Texter, because I heard for the last 30 minutes of that broadcast of NHL Stanley Cup Game 5 last night, Vegas fans chanting, we want the cup. We want the cup. And it got louder and louder. And it was consistent the whole way through the end of that game. And I would also point out, this is what a lot of people I think don't necessarily understand. Las Vegas, Lonzo, has a permanent population of 646,790. That's a population who live in Vegas. I want you to think, for every one of those casinos, there are thousands of employees. And there are people who genuinely love living in Las Vegas. So they will have a decent home base, because while absolutely I would give the old one finger salute to a team I loved if they moved and became a team I did not love. On the flip side, if a team comes to my city, I'm all in, dog. Why wouldn't I be? You rep my city. You rep my zip code. I'm in, right? You can look at that with me. It's true. I got the Drive shirt on now. I spend 18 Saturdays a year.
It's a nice looking
Stadium.
shirt, by the way.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
I like the gray.
Yeah.
It's not a primary color of the team, but it works out well.
Gray works. I wish we would go with some gray around here.
No, we do all white, buddy. Look good in those white polos.
Yeah, I unless I'm forced to, like wearing khakis, I will never wear that white shirt.
Khakis.
Even though it has my name on it, I'm not wearing it.
I don't know, man. I really do. To be real with you, ordinarily when I map out a segment, it's like, all right, what's your point? And then what's your opener? And then how do we fill in the middle? I don't really have one for this other than I just want to say to Oakland Athletics fans, dude, this sucks for you and I'm sorry. It sucks for you and I'm sorry.
And whatever choice you make, you're not going to get any judgment, or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to move on somewhere else, go ahead. If you want to stick with them, I don't think you should be chastised or looked down upon if you decide to stick with your team, even though they moved to somewhere else.
Yeah. If you drop some bleep you A's on Twitter, I got your back.
All right. The only thing I have problems with is don't burn your gear. And that stuff costs too much. Don't go out and catch it on fire. I get you spent the money, so you have the right to burn it, but it just looks, donate it to someone or give me that money that you spent on that, because I'll take that money.
The money's already spent. All they have is the jersey. You want an Oakland Athletics jersey?
Well, I'll sell it and
Gotcha.
keep the money. Yeah,
No,
I'll do that.
I will tell you.
And who
straight
knows?
up,
Maybe it's kind of a collector's item if it like actually has Oakland on it.
I will tell you this. Number one, when they leave, yours truly will absolutely be on the lookout for an Oakland A's jersey. And I will rock that Oakland jersey forever. I've never been to Oakland. I've never had a connection with the A's, but just out of solidarity with those fans, I would rock the hell out of an Oakland A's jersey when they leave Oakland, right? Like I said, I don't really have any meat to this segment, which is a failure on me as a radio host. I just feel awful for Oakland fans. They showed up 28K strong yesterday, put some serious juice into. By the way, I love this. They decided to go silent protest in the first at bat. It was weird, dude. It was weird. The entire stadium, with the exception of player chatter, was dead silence. It was impressive. And the second that Siri got on base with the first hit of the game, immediately the entire Coliseum erupted into sell the team, sell the team. And the sad thing is, John Fisher's not going to sell this team. And even if John Fisher sells this team, you know who's going to sell it to? Somebody ready to move it to Vegas. It sucks when something that you love is going to walk out of your life and there's not a damn thing that you can do about it. It hurts, dude. I feel awful for them. Awful for them. Texture said, I know it's easier said than done, but San Francisco is 20 to 30 minutes from Oakland, so there are options for sports still there. Imagine being like St. Louis, or your NFL team just dips and goes back to their ex, LOL. That's from UNC Chris. Chris, appreciate that text. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. The Oakland-San Francisco baseball rivalry is not a pleasant one, dude. It's not. Like, I will tell you this. If the Saints dipped, I'm not immediately becoming a Falcons fan because that's the closest team to me. Or a Panther. I mean, I'm a Panthers fan because when they win, I make more money. You know that. But, like, I don't think telling Oakland fans, hey, you can just be Giants fan now. No. Screw the Giants, man. They're our rivals. I'm not in for that. Are they still your rivals if you don't have a team anymore, though? Are you still a rival of the Giants if you don't have a team to be a rival with? I don't know. This thing, it just sucks. It just sucks for A's fans. It sucks for baseball fans. You know what sucks the most about this? Is that the Vegas team is going to be a fun. They're in a fun city. They're in a place where you go to have fun. The majority of the fans any given night at whatever the stadium is going to be named are there to just let loose and go bananas, BANANAS. I told the fiance, I don't know, last Saturday, because we talked about this on Bet for the Cycle. I said, go ahead and prepare yourself. Because when 2025 rolls around and the Atlanta Braves play their first series in Las Vegas, Nevada, we're flying out. We're going to Vegas. We're going to Vegas to go to the Braves game at the Las Vegas, whatever they end up being called. We're in. And The sad thing is that as bad as I feel for Oakland, this move is played out perfectly. They got a great stadium. They got great real estate. They are coming in on the heels of the Las Vegas Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup. Like, everything about this is coming up, pardon the expression, aces for the A's, for this to be an incredible move. Everything. And that's got to make it worse. The only thing worse than seeing your ex cheat on you and dump you is for her to end up in the arms of a richer, better looking dude. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing worse than seeing your girl walk out the door is seeing her jump into the front seat of some supermodel's Ferrari. And it's like, not only am I mad as hell because you screwed me up, but you upgraded. You're better off now. You hurt me and you did it in a way that made your life better. This sucks. Vegas has a Ferrari and a penthouse. Oakland has a 1-bedroom apartment and a Corolla. I feel it. The A's are devastated, and they should be. And yet I also understand why the A's are leaving. Like, oh, it sucks. All right, let me take a break. When we come back, we'll get some Carolina Panther off-season talk in here. Rashad Beard has already confirmed he will be back with us tomorrow. But Zoe and I run you through some of the storylines today. The Rob Brown Show rolls on after this. It is the Fan Upstate.
Gambles.
All right, guys, got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
and download the free Odyssey app today.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin.
So
Jeff Martin.
in the restroom, and Nothing But a Good Time just came on. That's not really a good song.
Nothing but a good time.
Don't need nothing but a good. It's not a good song. No,
It's not a good song.
it's not. It's not really. I mean, you listen to it. It's kind of. There's no effort that they put into it. There's no oomph to it. It's just.
We play that song. That song's a banger.
Yeah, I bet it is when you play it. But to them, it's just like they don't sound like they're having a good time when they're playing Nothing But a Good Time. Maybe I just heard a part of the song that wasn't that great, but I was never a huge Poison fan anyway.
All right, let's take a look around what's going down up in Seatown. We spin around the training grounds on the Rob Brown show. I was close. I couldn't get the last one. Sick rhymes, bro.
It was starting to sound like somebody though there. I just I don't know. Who do you think he sounded like?
The Beastie Boys.
I thought it was more like Christopher Walken. If, to be honest, it sounded like a walk-in time there.
Started sounding like Ad Rock. All right.
See, I'm not the only one who heard it. I am not the only one who heard it. That's why you can see the look on my face. Like, is he trying to do that?
By the way, while we have a second, happy birthday to the little brother who's tuning in.
Hey, happy birthday! How's it feel to have better hair than Rob? Happy birthday! You can admit it on his birthday, right? You probably got a better beard though, but you know.
No. He has longer hair.
Which means better.
No. Anyway, happy birthday, little brother.
Wow, I didn't know I hit something there.
It's little brother. What do you think? Like, that's how this works.
Yeah, but I mean, you shouldn't have allowed me to see that.
Anyway, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers instead of that, shall we? Steve Smith Jr. spent a couple of days with the Cats through rookie minicamp and OTAs. The franchise's all-time leading receiver was a regular visitor, but based on the reports I've gotten, he was coaching him up.
Is he taller than Bryce?
I think so, actually.
I mean, were they looking eye to eye? I'm just Bryce Young.
Steve Smith is listed as 5'9" exactly. And Bryce is listed as 5'10". So yeah, BY is taller than Steve Smith. Everything's fine. Anyway, Steve Smith has been effectively working as a de facto unofficial coach. And Bryce Young said he took a lot away from it. He said, quote, he's been here a good amount, and having someone, a legend, being able to be around every time, every opportunity, I get to be able to pick his brain, hear his opinions about stuff, tell me how he feels, whether that's stuff about me and super applicable or just other stuff. Whatever conversations we have, I definitely value those a lot. I'm grateful for him being here, a legend of the sport, and for him to come here. It's not his first time he comes in, and he's supportive. He's doing everything to push us and giving his opinion. That's something we all value, being the legend that he is, end quote.
Don't make him mad, though. You don't want to make him mad. That could end badly for you.
I want the story that, Carolina Panther wide receiver tells Steve Smith he's wrong. Steve Smith proceeds to win the fight. Anyway, this comes about 2 weeks after Bryce Young had a sit down with the GOAT, Tom Brady. Had a sit down with Tom. Week and a half later, he does extended conversations with Steve Smith Sr. If you talk to a coach, they will tell you that ability is important. The most important ability is availability, depending on who you ask. I actually think the most important ability is coachability. Are you able to be coached up? Are you able to listen? Are you able to learn? Are you able to implement? And are you able to execute? If you can do those 4 things, listen, learn, implement, execute. If you can do those 4 things, you've got a much better chance at being successful. But I think it's not just about learning the offense. I also think it's about learning from different sources, right? Learning about football from different places, from different mindsets. BY got to sit down with Tom Brady. Do you think there is a better source on planet Earth to teach you how to play that position than Tom Brady? I mean, I'm sure there's some coaches that probably have some wisdom, but Tom can teach you every aspect of the game. He can teach you what it's going to be like when you travel, what it's like when you go through personal struggle away from the field to be successful on it. He can teach you
how to break a
like,
cell phone, how to film practices,
how to make sure the trainer knows exactly what PSI you want in the football.
All the things that you need
to succeed as a quarterback.
Apparently.
He can tell you every aspect of the game in ways that very few others can. And BY sat and picked the brain. Steve Smith comes to town. I don't think BY was going to ask Steve Smith how to play quarterback. You know what he could do is he could ask him, hey, for you, as the most successful wide receiver in the history of this franchise, what did you need from your quarterback to be successful? What would you say the quarterbacks you worked well with versus the quarterbacks you didn't? What would you say were the defining traits and characteristics? And he can learn that from Steve Smith.
What's the quickest way to find chemistry with your receiver? What's the best way to convey, hey, break off your route and do this without actually saying, hey, break off your route and do this?
That's exactly right. You can learn those things from Steve Smith in ways that you probably can't learn from less experienced wide receivers. Here's what I'm going to say. Maybe I'm being optimistic. I'm putting a blue and silver lining around this. See what I did there? You're welcome. But I want a quarterback who takes the opportunities to talk to people who were immensely successful. I want a quarterback who utilizes those opportunities, who maximizes those opportunities, and who gets better because of those opportunities. Have you heard any stories lately? And again, I know most of us kind of only really focus in on our own team, but have you heard any stories lately about Mac Jones having conversations with Tom Brady? Not really. Have you heard any conversations lately about Kyler Murray having conversations with, I don't know, who's the best Cardinals quarterback of all time?
Kurt Warner? I don't know.
Matt Leinart? Carson Palmer? Anybody?
It had to be someone way back in the day that was pretty good. Somewhere.
Up. Drew Stanton played there.
Oh, there you go.
That's the guy.
That's who you want to talk to.
But have you heard any conversations about Kyler having these types of sit downs? I promise you, if you're a quarterback and you meet with Tom Brady, it's on TV.
Maybe Kyler's talking to someone while he's playing some COD. It's possible.
That's true. Hey, bro, number one, what would you say is the best way to tell a receiver to snap his 10 route off 5 yards earlier? And number two, can you hit that room with a flashbang? They're ratting in there, and I can't get them out of the corner. Can you flash them for me? Answer those questions in any order that you wish.
Sounds like normal gamers speak to me.
I'm in. I appreciate this out of BY. I do. This is not the reason that BY has already been named QB1. It's not. But it's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. The fact that this dude has these opportunities, leans into the opportunities, and then comes out and he can name you specific things that he learned because of those opportunities is impressive. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. You combine that with the fact that he has apparently been on target throwing the football around. And again, we're not in pads yet. We're not up against full speed
Which
defense.
would be why he got moved up to QB1 and where he'll stay. Good to have Andy Dalton as a backup, though.
Honestly, I think you got probably the best backup in the league, right? I
Cannot wait till they come to Wofford to get to see it in person.
Same. Best backups in the league. Andy Dalton, Nick Foles.
He's still okay.
Still a backup. Tyrod Taylor. Jacoby Brissett. Joe Flacco. I mean, I feel like you're in a good spot.
All those guys probably started at some point last year.
Yeah.
For a team that did nothing.
Poor Tyrod Taylor. I just can't catch a break. Actually, I thought Tyrod walked at some point.
Well,
No, but he's with the Giants now. How about that?
stay away from the trainers. He's all right.
You're right. Anyway, I love this out of BY. The film that I have seen out of OTAs does look good. And again, I have not seen BY with shoulder pads on yet. Right? We have not seen him at full speed against the defense yet. But we've got all the stories of him putting on effectively passing clinics at OTAs. And now we find out that he's had the opportunity to work with Steve Smith, and he spent hours with him. That he had the opportunity to have conversations with Tom Brady, and he spent hours with him. Right? Not just, hey, Tom, I'm Bryce. Nice to meet you. Can I have a picture? Goodbye. He's actually put some effort in. I appreciate that. I like that. I respect that. Brian Burns has now made it known that he wants to be amongst the highest paid edge rushers in the National Football League. And yes, he should be. There is a reason that, keep in mind, LA made an offer for Brian Burns last year that included not one, but 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for Brian Burns. And the Cats said no. They trust in this guy. They like this guy. Good news, bad news. Good news is Brian Burns wants to be a Cat. He's made that abundantly known. By the way, Brian Burns will be rocking the number 0 this year. Changed his number. He will be number 0 for the Cats. But he wants to be in that upper echelon, which is fine. Brian Burns sitting on $16.012 million in salary this year. To put that into perspective, the top 4 edge rushers in the National Football League heading into 2023 season make an average $23,750,000. TJ Watt of the Steelers is the league leader, $28,002,000 on his contract. Watt signed a 4-year, $112 million deal ahead of the 2021 season, $80 million of it guaranteed. Brian Burns is likely not going to make the same amount of money that TJ Watt's making right now, but he's going to get close. Probably like a 4-year, $24 million deal. Put him over the league average of the top 4 players. Why wouldn't you be? Brian Burns has been a machine. And in a defense, though, where we have seen so many guys miss time due to injury. Brown, Horn, Luvu, all these guys have missed times. Brian Burns is one of the few guys that has missed a minor amount of time due to ding-ups. He's one of the most reliable. He might be Mr. Reliable on this defense. I told you the other day, I'm not looking Dalvin Cook if I'm Carolina because I can invest that money elsewhere. A solid chunk of that money needs to be invested in Brian Burns.
Oh, absolutely. The question I have, though, is will the new defense put him in positions where he might actually have more opportunity to get hurt? Or will he excel in the new defense?
I think he's going to be great because he can play that versatile outside linebacker in a 3-4, right? He can play that outside linebacker, and if he is playing the role of
Doesn't
that,
doesn't that put him in coverage though? I mean, how good is he in coverage?
it can put you in coverage, just depending on the way it all plays out. But that's the other part. As an edge rusher, Brian Burns is uber athletic. Can I teach that guy to cover up a tight end? You're damn right I can. You're damn right I can. I'm not saying he's going to have incredible coverage incredible coverage skills. I am saying he could. He's that athletic, right? And you can also, because versatility, you can also just have him play the weak side outside backer, right? Wherever the tight end lines up, Brian, you're on the other side, my dude. If they line up two tight end, we got a problem. But if they line up two tight end, they're likely running the football. We have taken a wide receiver, which means I can walk a corner or a safety up and give a secondary defender there. I love it. I think Brian Burns is a big, if not the primary part of the reasoning behind moving to a 3-4 and being comfortable with it. I'll tell you right now, if the Saints said we're moving to a 3-4 next year, I'd be really unhappy with that because we don't have that personnel. Carolina does. Carolina has that personnel, and Brian Burns is a big part of that reason why. This is one of the reasons I said Dalvin Cook ain't the move if you're Carolina, because you're going to end up being a guy. You're going to end up being in a spot where you need to pay some guys as contracts start to run up over the next 2 or 3 years. And if you have locked a 28-year-old running back into the backfield for $14 million a year, that's $14 million a year you can't put anywhere else. And if you ask me right now, who has a bigger impact on the success of the Panthers next year, Brian Burns, or if he was a Panther, Dalvin Cook? The answer is Brian Burns. And it's not particularly close, in my opinion. This is why you don't pay that guy, so that you can pay this guy, so that you can pay Brian Burns to stay and be your guy. Last one, then we will run to a break. Adam Sheen has put out a list, the top 10 players he believes will be on the rise this year. And at number 6, Lonzo, he puts Ike Ekwonu. And my response when I read that was,
huh? On the rise?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Did you not watch him play last year as a rookie?
Now, maybe he believes he will be even better this year. And for the record, so do I.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think what I'm most intrigued
But on the
by,
rise implies that you were, people didn't know who you were, or that you had a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, I'll let Sheen get away with this one. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What I will say is I'm surprised by the number of people who pushed back against this. Look, Icky started out looking like a rookie. We talked about that on this show. He started out looking by a rookie. Then Lonzo, he went 10 games without giving up a sack. 10 games. For Carolina's offense, he went 10 games without giving up a sack. This dude is good. When they drafted this guy, I had my questions. When he opened the year truly and genuinely looking like a rook, I had my questions. But by the end of the year, Ike Ekwonu entirely, totally justified his selection by the Carolina Panthers. Not a question in my mind. He absolutely proved that he was very much worth the draft pick. He absolutely proved that he can be that dude. And so Adam Sheen seeing this does not surprise me, but I've seen people pushing back like, no, he's young, but dude, the guy's done just about everything right. I love this kid. If I am Miles Sanders, I am very happy to have him lined up with Brady Christensen ahead of me, without a doubt. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Twitter trending topics. We call it a day. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You, ladies and gentlemen, are listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate.
here's the sports flash on the Fan Upstate. Around Major League Baseball on Tuesday, the Braves and Tigers were rained out in Detroit. They'll play a doubleheader today. The Astros beat the Nationals 6-1. Houston hit 4 homers. Hunter Brown threw 7 scoreless innings. The Orioles pounded the Blue Jays 11-6. Dean Kramer 7-3 with the win. Gunnar Henderson hit his first career grand slam, one of 4 home runs hit by the Orioles in a 17-hit attack. In 10 innings, the Rockies nipped the Red Sox 7-6. Randall Grichuk with a 2-run double in the 10th. The Yankees 7-6 winners over the Mets. The Yankees rallied back from a 4-run deficit. Oakland has wins in 7 straight. They beat Tampa 2-1. The Phillies pounded the Diamondbacks 15-3. Twins over the Brewers 7-5. The Angels beat the Rangers 7-3. The Giants beat the Cardinals 11-3. The Cubs 11-3 winners over the Pirates. The Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Bills held their first day of mandatory minicamp Tuesday, and one player not out on the practice field was Stephon Diggs. Head coach Sean McDermott says he is, quote, very concerned by the receiver's decision to skip minicamp. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, Diggs was present at the Bills facility on Monday and Tuesday morning, but he left before the start of Tuesday's minicamp practice. Dalvin Cook knows just what he wants in his next NFL team. Cook told NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero that he, quote, wants somebody who values Dalvin Cook. I want somebody that wants me to be there and give me the ball. Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud is taking first-team reps at mandatory minicamp, but that doesn't mean he's already won the quarterback number 1 job. D'Amico Ryan says the quarterbacks are rotating reps week by week. This has been NFL Network Now on Westwood One Radio Network.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing the seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dazzling decal on Daisy's Donuts window. Bold banner at Barry's Barbershop. Prominent poster at Penny's on Park Place.
This is your sign. Well, signs. To try Staples and see the difference. Get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more.
From Staples, and I couldn't miss it.
N617. Visit staplesconnect.com/printgig for details. Meet Joe A.
Clouds rolling in. Good time to go home and take a nap. Or go home and try to get past the stupid mini boss that I can't get past. Went up 4 levels since last time I fought said mini boss. Changed my build.
Did you?
Should be ready. Just change one thing. That's it. But I found some other stuff to augment my. I'm playing as a druid, and there's a pulverize attack, and what he does is he hits the ground, and the ground like erupts a little bit.
Hulk
and
smash?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Except I've added 2 other things where pillars would come out of the earth, and another one that adds to it is an electric avalanche that shoots forward. And I just hit level 50, which is the level cap, and then you get Paragon points, and then you can add to your willpower and a bunch of other stuff. So more than likely, I go home, start playing, fall asleep while playing, and die. No, Steven, he calls him Josh. Been noticing you've been playing a lot of Ghost Recon.
I have been. I kind of have fallen in love with that game.
I love that game, especially when you pull someone out of the car. Sorry, brother. It's just.
I need this.
There's also, I don't know if it's still there. Me and Cameron fought Predator on that game. It did not go well. No matter what we did, we like stacked up stuff around there. I was like, we got him this time, and he just tore us to pieces. It's the one where Raven landed on top of me with a boat, which was hilarious.
Team communications.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he tells us why. First of all, shout out to all the new people on the stream today.
Yeah.
Got some new people out there, and glad you found us. And as Rob said earlier, please tell everyone about us.
Hashtag grow the show.
Even that one guy that you don't really like that much, but just tell him anyway, because maybe we'll get on his nerves. All right, the first thing that's trending is Netflix.
So I know that like a week or two ago, Netflix started implementing the base television. Like you can only have TVs in your house. You can't have other people log into your account because it created some issues for some people. But I have no idea why it's trending.
All right, it's trending because Netflix is starting their own restaurant called Netflix Bites. And it's a higher class restaurant because they have a bunch of shows like Iron Chef and things like that.
Okay.
And all those people are going to come together and create dishes for Netflix Bites. A place that neither one of us, even with our combined income, could afford to go to, probably.
I don't know, man. Like I guess I'm interested. Like I'm a sucker for celebrity chef shows. A sucker for them. Like I want to hang out with Gordon Ramsay for a day.
Yeah, but from everything you've seen, he's actually it seems to be a cool dude and
He
very
is.
nice. Yeah.
That's what I understand. Like I have watched,
So if you're expecting him to yell at you and stuff, he's probably not going to do that.
I have,
as long as you're not cooking.
I have seen some clips of him doing the Master Chef Kids, where like the kids or whatever, and he like pep talks them up. In fact, he gave an interview once where he was talking. He's like, the British shows he's on are vastly different from the American shows. He's like, we figured out in the American shows that I have to be a jerk to get ratings. He's like, I really don't love doing that, but I have to pull the curtain back. And yet still, I'm going to tune in to watch him put a piece of bread against both sides of a contestant's head and make them say, I'm an idiot sandwich, because it's hilarious.
All right, the next thing is trending is Flag Day.
It is Flag Day. June 14th is Flag Day. It is also the birthday of my younger brother. It is also the birthday of Donald Trump. It is also the birthday of my older fraternity brother, Phil Cleland. Happy birthday, Phil. I doubt he's listening, but somebody he knows is.
Not Stanley Cup, Phil. It's a
No,
different
not
Phil.
that. Yeah, correct. Not that Phil. That Phil's awesome, though. It is also a good day to remember that wearing clothes and pins of the American flag are technically against flag code. Just a nerd reminder from a former Boy Scout.
Okay, thank you, Rob, for that. The next thing is trending is Secret Invasion.
That drops this week.
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
I'm in.
There have been more and more clips,
Yeah.
and it looks even more intriguing. They're trying to go along the Captain America 2.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier.
I'm in,
yeah.
dude. Like I'm in. I think I'm fine with it. Obviously, there's a lot of standing here in what the next round of MCU movies in the universe is going to be like. On top of that, do I get one mother bleeper from Samuel L. Jackson in this series?
I bet you do. And
I get one,
we
right?
don't have a straight up just Nick Fury
Yeah.
deal, and I think it's 6 episodes. So looking forward to that. All right, the last thing, because we want to go out with a bang, is Skip is trending.
Skip? Oh, that's right. Shannon left Undisputed, so Skip's on his own, right? Did they bring in a temporary co-host?
I don't know. He's trending because apparently he interrupted Shannon in his
course he
goodbye
did.
speech, and it's what he gets paid to do, right?
Let me tell you how this farewell speech impacts the legacy of LeBron James. All right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's how that went.
I bet it's close. Skip. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of the show. When we come back tomorrow, we've got Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joining us at 9:40 to break down all the OTAs. Then at 11:20, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. Be here. The show will be, as always, spectacular. I am Rob Brown. He's the great one. Thank you all for being here and part of the show with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later, brother.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa. And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world.
I'm glad Frankie Louvu says his name like Frankie Louvu.
Louvu? Frankie Louvu.
That's how you should
Sound
say your
very
name.
French.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know.
Exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Belinda's also has 5 spicy ketchup made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Belinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on food.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart.
Is Ray our male Karen now?
Our best-selling sauces, free shipping at
He always was.
melindas.com.
Wait, my American flag pants against flag code, but what's more American than giving someone else a roundhouse kick in those puppies? Not much. Not much.
Like Billy Jack. Rob,
Rex
probably-
Kwando.
does Rob know who Billy Jack
I don't know who
is?
Billy Jack is.
So you have to look it up.
Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter.
I don't
All right,
know.
guys.
I was gonna say I don't know why we're still on the
Yeah,
stream.
yeah.
Watch us type.
I actually immediately started working. So we're going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow. You're all spectacular people. Goodbye.